The P-40 was one of the best fighters in World War II, but was not the overall best. The P-38 Lightning could outperform the P-40 Warhawk in higher altitudes. The P-40 was in large-scale production because it was cheaper and easier to build and to maintain. In 1938, a P-40 prototype was first flown, and in 1939, the P-40 won a competition against five other fighter planes. On April 26, 1939, Curtiss Aeroplane and Motor Company, a manufacturing company founded in 1916 by Glenn Hammond Curtiss and August Moore Hearing. In 1938, a P-40 prototype was first flown, and in 1939, the P-40 won a competition against five other fighter planes. On April 26, 1939, Curtiss Aeroplane, a motor company, a manufacturing company founded in 1916 by Glenn Hammond Curtiss and August Moore Hearing, was founded a contract for the production of 524 P-40s, which was one of the largest orders since World War I. In 1941, the P-40C was considered the first truly combat-ready version of the P-40. Although the P-40 was never flown in combat, the P-40C was used by all the Allied forces in battle during World War I.
The Asia-Pacific Theater between 1941 and 1946 was where the Allies and the Empire of Japan fought for control over the seas. Japan needed the control over those seas because they depended on materials for the war. The Southwest Pacific Theater included the Philippines, the Dutch West Isles, aside from Sumatra, Borneo, Australia and New Guinea, and the west part of the Samoa Islands. In Pearl Harbor was the bulk of the American fleet, with over 96 vessels stationed there. The Japanese surprise attack began at 7:55 a.m. and ended at 10 a.m. Following the first shock, the Americans fought back with anti-aircraft fire because the airfield had been destroyed, and very few planes were left to fight in the counterattack. The Japanese had completed their mission to cripple the U.S. fleet. In the end, the Japanese sank or damaged 18 ships, and another thing they did was destroy 161 planes, with 2,869 casualties, 2,117 of which were death. The Japanese could see that American naval strength was to be recommended with. In 1941, the Japanese began planning their surprise attack on United States fleet in Pearl Harbor. The objective for Japan attacking Pearl Harbor was to destroy the heart of the American fleet. Before the Americans could recover from these surprise attacks, the Japanese fleet would take over all the islands that they would need and be able to control the Southwest Pacific Theater.
Curtiss Wright was the maker of the P-40. The P-40 could be a deadly fighting machine in trained hands. It had 6 50 cal machine guns, 700 pounds of bomb externally. It topped out at a speed of 362 miles per hour and had a cruising speed of 203 miles per hour. It also had a range of 850 miles. The engines that were used, Allison V1710, produced about 1,040 horsepower at sea level and 14,000 feet, which was not at all powerful according to the standards of the time. Only 28 P-40s remain airworthy out of the 13,378 that were built. 3 of them have been converted to dual controls and dual set configurations.
P-40s were some of the only planes to fly in the battle at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. When Japan declared war on China on July 7, 1937, the United States froze Japanese assets and placed an embargo on all products. Japan saw this as an act of war. Japan took Americans by surprise when they attacked Pearl Harbor. Japan had been planning the attack for months, and the results of the attack were devastating. However, 3 Soviet pilots were able to get P-40s up in the air on January 7th, and while airborne, the P-40s shot down multiple aircraft. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor with the goal of eliminating the United States' chance of fighting back. By doing this, it would also allow Japan to extend across the South Pacific. Ultimately, the attack of Pearl Harbor led to the United States entering World War II. The day after the attack at Pearl Harbor, the United States declared war on Japan. Over 2,400 men were killed and 19 U.S. Navy airships were destroyed. Japan also suffered some losses, but not near as many as the United States did. 29 Japanese aircrafts and 5 midget submarines were destroyed. 129 Japanese men were also killed in the attack at Pearl Harbor. Japan left crucial oil storage depots, repair shops, shipyards, and submarine docks untouched. This was important to the United States recovering from the attack and getting into the war. People were frightened by the attack on Pearl Harbor, but everyone unified together and had an increased patriotism. After Pearl Harbor, more men were joining the armed forces to fight.